in the beginning, they also are treated in the same manner, and they also have to tread the path of torture and persecution. And again with the same brilliant results. Only the truthful people, who are the very cream of the society as far as the piety is concerned, they can dare do that. So a polarization is set in that society. A positive pole is created and a negative pole is created. All that is good and worthy, that begins to be attractive towards the positive pole. But there is a very painful sifting in the way. And all that is unworthy and is the scum of the thing, of the earth, they begin to shift to the more easy, more accessible and more profitable, as they see it, path, and begin to gather round the negative circle. The most scientific phenomena, nobody can think of a better scheme than as we find it. It is painful, we know. We are passing through that period ourselves. But at the same time, we are reminded by the Holy Quran that Asa an takrahu shay'an wa huwa khairul lakum. Of course there are things which are very painful to you, which you abhor, but in the ultimate analysis they are much better for you. So Allah has to prescribe these things to you. So the prophethood transfers the same thing to the followers of the prophethood, and it's highly essential for the purification of the society and the ultimate victory of not our people but our values. Yes, please, your third question. Lady from Bromley, please, your third question.
My other question was about the role of women in Islamic society. How does Islam reconcile the differences which exist between one's religion and one's culture? Say, if you come from India and you're a Muslim, or say you an Indian Muslim who's a Muslim, how do you reconcile the differences between culture and religion?
My interpreter, please.
How do you reconcile between a culture and religion, and what is the role of a woman in these changing circumstances?
And your question, as I have been made to understand, is that what is the difference between culture and religion, and what should a lady do in such circumstances? Now, the first part is obvious and very clear, but the second part I couldn't follow, unless you mean that what should a lady do if her culture demands different things from her, different behavior, and her religion demands a different behavior. Is that what you wanted to ask, or is it something else? First, you please make your question clear.
Well, what I'm specifically referring to is the program itself. You may say that a woman is a learning program in the Western society, but this may not be accepted so, say, back in Pakistan or elsewhere, where Islam is most prevalent.
So it amounts to the same thing as I explained, that if there is a clash in religious values and cultural values, what should a person do? Here the question should not be limited to ladies alone. Any person, who be him a male or be she a lady, if she finds him or herself in such a difficult situation, then what should they do? Now, first of all, difference between religion and culture. Religion is a course of conduct prescribed for man by a higher being, that is God. Now this is the definition as we understand as a Muslim, and also the Christians and the Jews agree to this definition. In other parts of the world, in other religions, this definition has to be widened a bit because there is no question of one God there, many deities maybe, or some other concepts. So the definition would be anything, any course or conduct which is prescribed to him by saintly people, by people on earth who have their contact with deities, or by such people who are saintly in their behavior, but they do not establish any contact with any outside deity, yet they are wise, so wise that they hold the position of dictating things to other people. And because their teachings, the course they prescribe pertains to moral values and the subject of morality of man, so this is a religion. Now I am widening this definition in view of the Hindus and the Buddhists. And all the religions similar to them also are contained in this definition. Those who believe in deities, they don't believe that those deities have definitely set a course for mankind. And they don't have a definite teachings from certain deities. But the whole thing is confused. In some places you find saints speaking of deities' goodwill and wishes. And sometimes some people, some saints refer to certain deity which has spoken to them. And some just speak from themselves and say that if you do this, you will be saved, if you don't do this, you will go to hell, or this and that. So these are also religions. And Buddhism, which is an atheist religion, yet is called religion because they believe that this course of behavior has come from a very wise source, that is Buddha. The very spring of wisdom has been tapped to prescribe this conduct for man. And because it pertains to morality and ultimate happiness of mankind, so this should be termed a religion. As against this, culture has no such roots, no such context whatsoever, which make culture binding on the people as far as morality goes. Culture and religion may have some common ground occasionally. Many cultural heritages which we find today in different parts of the world are in fact related to the religions of those respective regions. And no culture can be found completely divorced and separated from the religion of that area or those people. Yet culture is not a moral must. Culture does not deal with crime and punishment. Culture does not deal with deeds of good acts and rewards. Culture is a set value which is reward in itself or a punishment in itself. If you follow the cultural values of a people, therefore your attraction and for making you appear one of the people. If you adopt that mode, that way of life, it has nothing to do with